like a boss when the business is you. When the business is you, there is no room for error, time for mistakes, or getting knocked down. Every step you take must be a step forward in the right direction. But how do you know? Hi, I'm Sue Stiles. From a divorced and bankrupt single parent of 4 little ones to founder and CEO of my own business school, I am the expert who challenges business owners so that they can reach their goals. I've put in the time so that you don't have to rely on the School of Hard Knocks to get your education. From teaching at the local library to speaking on conference stages across Canada and the USA, I share my wealth of experience and wisdom to guide you so that you can reach your goals and have the success and impact that you desire.
Well, about 3 years ago, I received a call from a small business company called Inflated Dreams, and I fell in love with the name and in fact used some of their balloons for a few events that I had. But back then they were such a small business, they really couldn't afford any business coaching. Now they've developed some really unique products, they've got some corporate clients, so they're ready to put some money to invest into professional help. So where do they take their business now? Well, that's what they've hired me to find out. So I'm going to assess them, guide them. Let's go and meet them and see how I can help them the most. Welcome to Inflated Dreams. So I have looked at your business online. I've seen your website, your social media presence, and it all looks really good. I think you've done a beautiful job in keeping it up and engaging people with it. Tell me what you've had to learn up until now and where your priorities are now looking forward.
We have to learn pretty much everything about entrepreneurship, but starting from like balloon crafts, because we didn't know anything about it when we got our business.
Who does?
Yeah,
Right?
Right. But like, other than that, like marketing strategies, sales, like everything, to be honest, like how to engage.
Social media presence.
Even like how to take pictures of your product, you know, because you need to showcase your product. People need to see your product. And for me, that's one of the biggest things.
From scratch, like we started with just single personalized balloons and we've developed all these products that we had to learn all the techniques. We use our resources, basically YouTube, you know, we've paid courses to learn specifically how to do bouquets and things like that. So, yeah.
Now, right now while we're sitting here, what would you say your priorities for your business are?
I think we are at the point of scaling. We are like, I think we're like in the edge, and I think there are two main things that we want to do. One, it's start teaching and teaching everything that we've learned in the past 3 years. The second thing,
distribution. We want to start distributing the materials.
Do you mean training and distribution as if you might become franchise?
we're looking into it. To be honest, like we don't really know, but we know I feel, and I know she does as well, that there is the opportunities there, and we just gotta sit down, you know, analyze our current strength and current weaknesses, and see which path will be better to take.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where your expertise comes, right?
Right.
What would you say your biggest hurdle has been?
I will say being stuck in Venezuela for 6 months.
So basically last year, February 2020, we decided to go on a family vacation, our first family vacation since we actually had kids. Yeah, ever, basically. And we were planning to go from February 28th to March 25th. But as everybody knows, COVID hit like March 14th or something. And then we got the news that all airspace were closed and that we were gonna stay in Venezuela until further notice.
And like our business was here. We are the ones that run our business. There was no one else here like to run it for us.
So when you're away, no one is here making money for you.
No one.
It was difficult. At one point, I remember one particular week that we were 6 days straight without water.
Was there a thought like, forget it, we should just give up, or a moment when you thought we're over our heads?
Never.
Never, to be honest. We were like, how do we make this happen?
Yeah.
We cannot pass this.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer on the quality of your questions. So, like, how do we make this happen? What are the challenges that we're gonna find, and what can we overcome them?
My brother-in-law's girlfriend, she's very creative too, and then she decided to, take over. And we were making like profit out of it, to be honest, because all the money, of course, was gonna be for them, and we will only take a
percentage to cover cost.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was amazing that at least our clients could, still get our products, and we will keep moving like social media and all of that from Venezuela.
And tell me a little bit about sales, what you've been doing maybe for this last year or two of business. What do sales look like for you? You're the sales guy for the business, right?
Yes. Email, I call, I go into car dealerships with a big
balloon, garland,
mermaid tail, and I ask for who's the decision maker, and I train myself, and I always share all the knowledge with her for sales.
Well, and also like at this craft market we participated, we found out that that's another amazing way to find clients, right? Mm-hmm. Exposure, like actual physical exposure. We haven't had an experience before where we see people's reaction live, and it was amazing to see like people coming to us, like being attracted to our balloons and thinking that how amazing is what we do. And
can you speak to when CTV did the news report on you, if that maybe made other people aware of you? It was sort of a hard opportunity, but maybe you got some benefit out of it.
Yeah, our neighbors actually, once after we got here, yeah, a lot of people, but like the one I can recall is like one of the neighbors just was driving by, and I was getting out of the garage, and she was like, "Hey, welcome back." And I'm like, "Well, first time I'm seeing you. I know you're my neighbor, but..."
And like, some others didn't know they were our neighbors, and then they saw us walk by, and they were, "There you are, guys. We're neighbors,
Welcome back." Yeah. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna contact you for my son's birthday and things like that."
So I really want to know why you got into the balloon business. What is it about balloons for you? Or is there something about balloons that you enjoy?
Well, it all started with our, desire to have a family business because we had a baby recently. We had our second baby, actually. Well, I hired this company from their previous owners to decorate my baby shower. And then I just commented to one of them that I really wanted to do, make a living out of like crafts in general, because I am very crafty and creative. So like 3 months later, she comes to me and she's like, we're leaving the country. Here's the business. She came to our door. Yeah, she came to our door. She's like, I heard that you told me that you wanted to make a living out of this, and this is like a really great business. We have seen like a very good response from Calgary to our product, and we just wanted to see if you can buy it from us. Mm-hmm. And we were like,
She showed us her Instagram, like the sales up to date, and we were like, well, I mean.
Didn't you just have a baby at this time?
Yeah. So our baby was a month old.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what about you, Lewis? What were you doing at this time?
So I was working for this company for about 7 years, and at the time, I was really done with the job. I didn't like it and didn't enjoy it anymore, and like fate or whatever you want to call it, this came to our doors, and we took a chance, and I actually left my job.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a leap of faith.
For sure.
So you bought a business when you had a newborn baby, and you left your job for the business.
And to be honest, I think beyond a family business, I wanted to transcend even our lives. Like somebody can take over, like keep the culture, kind of like a Walmart or an Apple or any of those big companies that have it's like an infinite game. You know what I mean? That's pretty much my
vision.
Okay, I've listened to your priorities and how interesting to learn more about your struggles and what you've learned up until now. Now, let me feed back somewhat of a prescription of what I think it would be best for us to go forward and work on together. Often, two of the hardest things to get entrepreneurs to do is invest in learning something about their business. You know, they maybe don't know who to turn to or what's legitimate, so I get that. And delegating. Many entrepreneurs, when they start providing a service, think I'm the only one who can do it like this. Yeah. So those are two awesome things that you have learned to go forward from. What you're really looking for right now is a really viable and clear plan. You want to use this business or grow this business as something bigger than it is right now, and something that will grow with your family over the years. And maybe a great succession plan is handing it over to children, or selling it in the future. So what do we need to do? So I have 3 priorities I think that we should work on. First is right back to when you called me a number of years ago. We talked about starting with a business plan. And let me just ask you, did you do a business plan at that time?
No.
People so often ignore the business plan, but we are going to go back and fill in that gap. And I have a custom business plan for you. It's just 10 questions. And by answering them, you'll see where maybe your blind spots were or what you haven't put into place yet. So we're going to go back and make sure that we've got the groundwork covered. Okay. Number 2 is solidifying your client, your sales funnel, your pipeline, and making sure that you have designated times to go out and talk to people, that you're phoning people on purpose, that you're keeping track, that you know where your business is going to come from. You want to make sure that if you served somebody last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, that they are still being touched base with, so that you're top of mind for not only birthdays, but Valentine's, special events, corporate clients. So we want to make sure that your systems will help you do that. And you don't just have to rely on the top of your head, or random acts of communication, I like to call them. In order to help you, a CRM or your client relationship management system is really what you want to look at. So we'll do some research around what would be a good CRM to keep your clients safe in. And also, now that you've learned you can delegate a little bit, maybe your salesperson spends more time on that than blowing up balloons, so to speak. So a little bit of delegation. Once you have those things done for your homework, then the third thing is to take some time to consider, how are you going to grow this business? What is the next step if you're going to scale? That doesn't always mean more customers. Sometimes that means diversifying a little bit. So you were talking in your Inflated Dreams production room about possibly distributing some of the products or doing some training. So we need to research that a little bit and see what out of those could be a profit maker and what of those would be a time waster. I think you've also learned that when people come to help you, when you're hiring help, they are not partners of the business, even when they're family. You have to establish a baseline for employees and what you're going to pay for help, so that it doesn't interrupt your profits, and your returns on their help. I'm going to suggest that you take some time and talk to a bank about what would be involved in getting perhaps a loan if you want to go into distribution or ramp up the amount of product and balloons that you're doing. Because right now in Alberta, real estate and office space is so low. And perhaps there's a way that you could buy a commercial condo and have a place for that. You need to do the research for that. Now, you might get this magazine, Avenue Magazine in Calgary. Everybody loves it. And I noticed in this issue on the other side is the best wedding services. If you've never applied for this before, maybe next year for their next issue, you could apply to be in a magazine, any media coverage, as you experienced just with a little thing on CTV telling about your hard story. Yeah. Well, what if you had something in media, print, magazine, a story about how you're the best in your industry? And I understand you just got engaged. Yeah. And so I think weddings might be top of mind for you. Congratulations. So keep this in mind and get ready to apply when the time is right. And I am going to leave you a couple pages of a business plan that I printed off. I'll email it to you as well. There's the 10 questions. Sit down, have a couple drinks, just enjoy it and think about it as you go through. And I'm also going to give you my book, The Little Red Stick. What gets measured gets done. I love it. And if you missed any of the foundational steps in setting up a solopreneur kind of business, you'll have covered them in these. So, will you do your homework?
Absolutely.
We will.
Okay. Sure. Louis and Daniela have built a viable business that they hope will take their family into security and stability. They've had a lot of challenges to face, the same challenges most solopreneurs face when they risk it all, that perhaps it might fall. Whew. But one thing this couple has is courage. Even though they feel the fear, they are strong enough to do it anyways. They were trapped down in Venezuela for 6 months, away from their business, away from their income, away from ability to do anything, without water for some days and even electricity. Somehow their vision and their courage just saw them through. Now the opportunity that they have is to come back around to the base of their business and to fill in those gaps that they never took the time to properly stabilize when they began. We're going to build a secure and stable foundation that they can grow and scale their business on with more customers and maybe even more products. Hi, Louis and Daniela. How are you doing?
Good, Sue. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for checking in for our accountability session. Now, I just want to ask, we were going to have our session a few days ago, but you asked if we could postpone because you hadn't gotten to the homework. Now, typical, I mean, this happens when the business is you, that things come up. Tell me, what kinds of things come up that most often get in the way of this kind of business work?
Well, usually it's last minute orders. So it's really hard for us to say no, especially like during this time. So we're 100% available for our clients. So if somebody calls, hey, I need a balloon bouquet for tomorrow or even this evening, and we don't have like anything else more important to do, then we'll definitely go ahead and, help the client. But it's usually that like last minute orders.
Yeah. Last minute orders and also, well, after the kids come back from school, it also gets challenging because, we need to give them some attention and, make sure they're like eating, like make some food for them.
After we sat down together and you've had a chance to look at your business, what were some of your insights or aha moments?
So for me, one of them was basically being able to sit down and update my idea of what our market is now, because it's definitely not the same as when we started, because we have grown, we have transitioned into a different market, and we are realizing that now that we went through the business plan, the business plans that you gave us. We were like, we're probably transitioning to a different market. We are more, or we should be focusing more on corporations.
Clients that come through Google, they are more like e-commerce driven. So like they are okay placing orders online, not asking many questions, just, oh, I like this, let's purchase it. Whereas on Instagram, it's a little bit more like a sales process type of deal. Like you have to inquire about, okay, what do you need? How can I help you? Let's see, how can we take this? But we've seen a shift, like our through our website and through Google and Instagram, because there's more saturation. Another one for me was, or when reading the questions, is that we haven't really allocated a budget for marketing and advertising. Usually we do it organically. We kind of like, okay, go into Instagram stories, we post, we have a pretty strong social media presence, but it's very organic, word of mouth.
I think it wasn't that necessary because like this, the product speaks for itself in the past, but now that, you know, we have more competition, there are not as many parties. So we will need that, you know, to do that more like consciously.
At least when you take a conscious moment and, you know, we can outline all the opportunities, it gives you a chance then to put even a dollar figure with each of those opportunities and leverage, you know, number one, if you go corporate, and then through corporate, if you have an ability to go personal for all the people in the company, and is there something else after that, you know, at least you can look at it and not just fall into it by accident, being proactive and on purpose instead of reactive.
Yeah, no, like this business plan has been amazing because we realized a bunch of stuff, and then there is a lot of stuff that we knew we needed to do, but like again, it's a lot, so you don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So now with this business plan, we know that the first step that we need to take is to like find help with accounting.
I'm so glad that you found a good accountant, because that was an important person to add to your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think after you came visit us, we sat down and we discussed like, okay, what's the thing that we are like the worst at and that we need definitely help. And I mean, of course, we have other areas that there are opportunities, but this one was like, okay, this got to be the first thing before anything, because that way we can make more conscious business decisions going forward. Like
Definitely, like none of this awareness would have been possible if you haven't like come and talk to us and, you know, open
ask the
our
right
minds,
questions.
like get us out of the, you know, the chaos and the mess of running this, and like actually seeing what's going on from outside and realizing the areas where we need help.
It's always such a high risk when you're running your own business, but now it's like you're proving your systems and you've got the business ability. And so it's just filling in a few of those gaps that maybe didn't take the time or make yourself do to begin with. But how do you know until you do it?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk at all about a work-life balance? Is that relative to your family, making sure that, you know, thinking about delegating to a third person when things get busy, or is any of that come into play?
Yes, I mean, I think one of the ultimate goals is to become an actual business owner, not an operator. I think that's should be one of the ultimate goals that we should be heading towards. And delegating for sure, like letting other people take advantage of our business, and we take advantage of them as well, like a reciprocity. Now, in terms of actual work-life balance, when you're an entrepreneur, I don't think there's such a thing. It's a more a way of finding how to integrate everything together. Like
If we want to take this company to the next level, then that's where we need to be putting most of our attention.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that's also for our children, because at the end, they're gonna have, you know, this example and this heritage.
You've come from being a pregnant, new parents, not planning to have this business, taking an opportunity, learning just how to run the business, to now, after a handful of years only, discovering you actually have a business, and how can you have a lifelong business, which is not you working in this business 100% of the times, but you hadn't had a holiday or vacation for 5 years, you had said before. So I think knowing what you need for vacation times, what is enough time. Some people only need a day, some people only need an hour in the bathtub. And what do the kids need? And then planning those things, again, just planning ahead of time so you're not burned out, and then realizing, oh my gosh, we need to relax.
That's a red flag for me. Like if I'm feeling that I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, it's not that it's gonna be, butterflies and unicorns every day, but like if most of the time I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, or I'm feeling like not good, like miserable, there's something I'm not doing okay. And it's probably that I am not resting, or, taking the time off, or all of that. So that's definitely one of the most important things for us.
Thanks for checking in, guys. I can't wait to witness what your inflated dreams turn to be for the future.
Yes, thank you.
Well,
Thank
we're
you.
so thankful to you, because you've been amazing, and like your wisdom, I don't know what it is about your words and the way you explain things, that it's, I don't know, but right? Like it gives me some sort of like peace, it's like, okay, we're in the right track, guys. Let's go. Let's do this.
Thanks for watching Like a Boss When the Business Is You. I've been your host, Sue Stiles. See you at our next episode. Stay tuned. I think that covers it. Do I need to do that again? Hold on, did I read about you that you're a doula, or that you were a doula before?
I am, yes. I'm still I got my certification a year ago, but I started like studying when I got my first baby. I just became so passionate about birth and babies and postpartum and all of that. So
Balloon art and a doula.
I know.
Oh, that's awesome.